Hello, and for this additional content, I wanted to talk about failures. And specifically, when we talk about a virtualization failure, a cloud failure, something that's not a single system. Here's the thing. When we look at a virtualization platform, which is fundamental for the cloud, and we have a failure, it is something that basically it's not a single system. It's not a single server. It might be one piece of hardware, it might be one service, but it has the ability to affect a very wide range of things. You suddenly can be impacting, not just one or two customers, but hundreds or thousands of customers. So when you get into the failures of a cloud, and I'll pick on Amazon for a little bit because recently they had one. It was a service failure. Something occurred. And all of a sudden you lose 20-30% of all the websites out there. Or, wide swaths of stuff just fail. Google's had it, VMware, all of them. And you have these large scale outages where all of a sudden weird things don't work. Your email doesn't work, your calendar, certain website, booking places for hotels or restaurants doesn't work, or you can't stream something, weird stuff. That goes to show you how interconnected everything is, but it also shows you the massive scale of everything. The virtualization platforms which fed into the cloud computing stuff means when you have a failure, it's not one server, one application, one group of people that's affected. It is now in mass. And that doesn't mean you can't have those single failures, but nowadays these failures tend to be much larger in scale. And because of that, things get a little bit more panicky. People under more stress, more critical to have backup and redundancy, you name it. Because now you're taking out an entire business or a whole group of businesses, what have you. That's why when you look at change control, when you look at what you're doing in that, you almost have to be perfect and be mistake free. And that's difficult to do and almost impossible. And the reason I bring this up, I had to I have to sit and watch somebody cut over a mail server coming up here. Not that I'm doing it, but they wanted two sets of eyes on it. Somebody I know. And it's a weird thing, but things are so critical, you can't just kind of do things off the cuff anymore. It used to be, you do these things and not a big deal, and if something hiccuped a little, nobody might even notice. Now, the impact is so great that people are absolutely panicked. And it sounds weird, but you got to understand why that is and where the logic is behind it. Because it has a purpose. You don't want to have anything offline or anything like that. So it can require having two sets of eyes. As weird as that is, as just unusual, sometimes that's just needed because of this impact and everything on a larger scale. And when you dig back into some of the recent cloud outages, some of the bigger ones, a lot of it's human error. It's not a piece of hardware that fails. You can have redundant hardware. That's easy to do. But, if you, and especially networking, oh boy, I always harp on, route tables and routers and that. You put a typo in a router, you can take an entire company or business offline. It's that easy. Those devices are so critical, and it's a typo. Horrible things that can happen, but it does. And a lot of times when you look at some of these big outages, and it's hard to find the details, but a lot of them are due to somebody typing something wrong. It's a typo, something didn't occur, It's most likely not a hardware failure anymore. It is, more of a software config issue. So failures happen. We got to live up to them and we own them and all that fun stuff. But the goal is not to have any. And sometimes for critical stuff, and I've done this throughout my career, you might tag team a change. So you got two sets of eyes on it, just validating what you're doing if the impact is that great. So don't be surprised if you run into that. Um, it's getting to be more and more common practice just to prevent that large scale outage. And it still can happen, but you do your best to prevent it, and it's about all you can do. So again, name is Brian Kirsch. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.